What if I told you that your entire future is being shaped right now, not tomorrow, not next week, but in the quiet, invisible choices you make every single day? Most people don't realize it. They drift through their days reacting to life instead of creating it, trapped in cycles of distraction, procrastination, and frustration, wondering why they feel stuck. But deep down, they know they're not building their life, they're watching it happen. The difference between those who rise and those who stay behind isn't some secret talent, some magic formula, or an unfair advantage. It's discipline. It's daily habits. It's the non-negotiables you train yourself to master long before the rewards ever show up. The people who transform their lives are the ones who stop waiting. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They don't wait for someone else to save them. They build themselves, one disciplined action at a time. This audiobook is not just another motivational list. This is your personal system to rewire your mind, rebuild your focus, and reclaim control over your life. If you apply these 10 daily disciplines, you will feel the shift in your mindset, in your confidence, in your results. This isn't theory. This is practice. Daily practice. So the question is simple. Are you ready to stop negotiating with your comfort and start engineering your growth? If you are, let's begin. The very first battle starts before the world even sees your face. And for most people, this battle is lost before their day even begins. It's that moment your alarm rings. You hear it buzzing. It's early. Your body feels heavy. The bed is warm. Your mind whispers, just 5 more minutes. And right there, before you've even taken your first step, you face the first test of your discipline. It may seem small, insignificant, but it's everything. Because every time you hit snooze, you're training your mind to value comfort over commitment. You're teaching yourself that your feelings are stronger than your word. You're silently signaling to your own subconscious that your goals can wait. And every time you do it, that habit grows. Your days don't change you. Your tiny decisions do. When you set that alarm, you made a promise to yourself. That promise wasn't to anyone else. It was to you. And if you can't keep a promise to yourself before sunrise, how do you expect to win the larger battles that demand even greater discipline later in the day? You rise not because you feel like it, but because you said you would. That moment, that single act of getting up when your alarm rings, is not just about waking up. It's about telling yourself, I'm in charge here. You're creating a foundation. A foundation built on self-trust. A foundation that will hold strong when bigger tests come your way. Success doesn't arrive overnight. It's built on layers of small victories, repeated daily. And the first victory? Getting up when you said you would. Understand this, your comfort is the most seductive form of resistance. It whispers to you in the dark. It feels innocent. Harmless. But it's not. Every 5 extra minutes is a silent theft of your discipline. And over time, that theft compounds, and one day you wake up wondering why you feel behind, why your life feels out of control. It all started with a snooze button. Now hear this carefully, you're not tired. You're undisciplined. You've allowed feelings to become negotiators in decisions that require commitment. You've allowed temporary comfort to steal from your long-term strength. And you can break this pattern. You can reclaim your mornings. You can rebuild your word to yourself. It begins with a simple rule. When the alarm rings, move. Feet on the floor. No debate. No bargaining. No conversations in your head. Just action. Because when you take control of your mornings, you're not just starting your day strong, you're training your mind to obey your values, not your emotions. And that training spreads into every part of your life. Your work, your relationships, your finances, your goals. The one who commands the morning, commands the day. Every time you obey your alarm, you're stacking proof that you can follow through. And that proof builds confidence. Real confidence. The kind of confidence that doesn't depend on luck or outside validation. The kind that comes from looking yourself in the mirror and knowing you kept your word. You don't need motivation for this. You need a decision. A permanent, unbreakable decision that you are done betraying your own progress for the temporary comfort of 5 more minutes. That's how self-respect is built. That's how self-trust is earned. It doesn't require special talent. It requires ownership. And the ripple effect of this single habit is enormous. You begin to show up better at work. You become more present in conversations. Your thinking sharpens. You're more patient. More grounded. You stop chasing motivation because you've built discipline. It starts with one small, silent act. Feet on the floor. Stand up. No snooze. No hesitation. That is your first victory of the day. Because when you own that first battle, you're ready for the next. And then the next. And brick by brick, you are building the strongest version of yourself. You are not here to negotiate with comfort. You are here to conquer it. Now that you've won the first battle, you've refused to negotiate with your comfort in those first waking moments. The next war begins. This one is far more dangerous, far more subtle. It's the war for your focus. In this world of noise, everyone is fighting for your attention. Apps, notifications, gossip, opinions, endless distractions designed to pull you off course. And here's the hard truth. You cannot build anything meaningful while being constantly distracted. This is where most people get trapped. They don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they spread themselves too thin. They're working hard, but their energy is fragmented. They confuse activity with progress. They jump from task to task, goal to goal, constantly switching lanes, never allowing any one effort to build momentum. If you're serious about growth, you must master the discipline of single focus. One goal. One mission. One relentless pursuit. Not 5 half-finished projects. Not 10 scattered dreams. One target that demands your full attention, your highest energy, your best work, daily. Because divided attention is diluted energy. And diluted energy produces diluted results. You need to ask yourself, what is the one goal that, if fully executed, would change everything for me right now? Not the convenient goal. Not the trendy one. The real one. The one that will stretch you, elevate you, and move your life forward. Once you identify that goal, you cut the rest. For now. Not forever. Not permanently. But right now. Because until you fully engage with one mission, you'll never experience the power of sustained momentum. Effort means nothing without direction. You can work 12 hours a day and still make no progress if your focus is scattered. You don't build greatness through scattered intensity. You build it through sustained, focused effort. And that means saying no, ruthlessly, unapologetically. You say no to the meaningless distractions. You say no to people who don't respect your time. You say no to shiny new opportunities that pull you away from your primary mission. Every yes costs you. Every yes trades away your energy. And every unnecessary distraction pushes your success further away. You have to stop believing you're being productive just because you're busy. Busy is not productive. Busy is the trap. Busy is where potential goes to die. You need discipline to protect your focus like your future depends on it, because it does. You don't lack time. You lack control of your attention. The world has programmed you to believe you must always be reachable, always available, always responding. But leaders, creators, builders, they don't live this way. The people who build extraordinary lives are the ones who master deep work, hours of uninterrupted, undistracted, fully present work aimed directly at their one mission. You cannot do this while your phone pings. You cannot do this while bouncing between notifications. You cannot do this while constantly switching tasks. You must build walls around your focus. That means scheduling your work time, shutting down your notifications, turning off your phone, creating silence, creating mental space. And yes, at first, it will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will itch for distraction. You'll feel the urge to check your phone, respond to texts, scroll through feeds. That urge is the addiction of comfort. But comfort builds nothing. You must train yourself to reject that pull. Because here's what happens when you lock in: your mind sharpens, your confidence grows, your work compounds, your life starts to transform. When you fully engage in one focused mission, your days stop feeling chaotic. You stop ending your days wondering where the time went. You start closing each day with the quiet satisfaction of progress. Real progress. Focus is your secret weapon. The world is loud. It rewards those who stay quiet and work. The world is chaotic. It rewards those who move with discipline. The world is scattered. It rewards those who protect their attention. You don't need more hours. You need more ownership. Start simple. Every morning, write down your single priority. The one thing that moves your mission forward. Commit to it fully. Block out distractions. Guard your time like it's your most precious resource, because it is. One goal. One task. One mission. Success doesn't belong to the person who does everything. It belongs to the person who does the right thing long enough. Let others chase distraction. Let others scatter their energy. You stay focused. Because while they're busy, you're building. Now you've started controlling your mornings. You've locked into one mission. But even with discipline and focus, there's another force that quietly shapes your identity every single day. It's one most people ignore: your posture. Yes, your posture. How you carry yourself speaks volumes about what you believe about yourself, even before you say a word. It's not about vanity. It's not about trying to appear superior. It's about commanding your own presence. Because before your words ever leave your mouth, your body is already delivering a message. A message to the world, and even more importantly, a message to yourself. When you walk into a room slouched over, head down, eyes darting away, shoulders collapsed, you don't have to say a word. Your body is screaming uncertainty. And that quiet signal starts rewiring your mind, teaching you to shrink inside your own life. But when you stand tall, chest open, head level, shoulders back, spine straight, something changes. Your brain feels it. Your emotions respond. Your mind starts to align with your body's strength. You can't expect to feel confident while physically presenting yourself as small and defeated. There is no such thing as a confident posture with a slumped spine. Your physical stance is not just a reflection of your mindset, it's a driver of your mindset. If you want to start thinking and acting like a leader, start moving like one. Stop waiting for confidence to show up first. Let your body lead the way. Fix your posture the moment you feel tension, doubt, or hesitation. Before you open your mouth in any important conversation, check your posture. Before you sit down to do serious work, check your posture. Before you walk into any room that matters, check your posture. Because the body teaches the brain. It anchors you to your strength, especially when your emotions are vulnerable. This isn't about faking confidence, it's about creating confidence. It's about building the physical foundation that allows your mind to operate at its highest level. And this isn't limited to big moments like interviews, speeches, or presentations. This is daily work. How you carry yourself when no one's watching. How you walk down the hallway. How you sit at your desk. How you stand in line at the store. How you enter every room, even if you're alone. You are always programming yourself. Every time you shrink physically, you chip away at your internal strength. Every time you stand tall, you reinforce it. This habit of commanding your physical space builds quietly, but powerfully, over time. And as your posture strengthens, so does your energy. So does your breathing. So does your thinking. So does your execution. You walk differently. You speak differently. You make decisions with greater conviction. You handle pressure with greater calm. Your physical alignment becomes the starting point of your mental alignment. And you don't need fancy tricks or hours of training. You need awareness. Start now. Right now, as you listen. Check yourself. Lift your head. Square your shoulders. Breathe deeply from your core. Feel yourself occupying your full space. Because this is where real presence begins, not in your voice, but in your spine. Weak posture sends weak signals to your brain. Strong posture sends strong signals. This small habit creates massive ripples across your entire life. Your relationships feel the difference. Your work reflects it. Even strangers notice it. People naturally respect those who carry themselves with quiet strength. And as you continue, something even more powerful happens. You no longer need to force confidence. It becomes who you are. Not because you've changed your circumstances, but because you've changed your relationship with yourself. You are no longer trying to shrink, to disappear, to minimize your worth. You're standing like you belong, because you do. You're sitting like your time matters, because it does. You're walking like your life is going somewhere, because it is. So from now on, posture is no longer optional. It's your secret weapon. Walk like you mean it. Sit like you own your time. Stand like your life carries weight. Because it does. Every day. Every moment. You don't have to say anything. Let your presence say it all. You've mastered the morning. You've chosen your mission. You carry yourself like someone who belongs. But now, we step into one of the most underestimated powers. How you speak. Because your voice is not just sound. It's presence. It's authority. It's the bridge between your thoughts and the world. And if you don't learn to speak clearly, confidently, and with intention, you limit your ability to influence, even if your ideas are brilliant. Most people never realize how much power they surrender every time they mumble, trail off, or rush through their words. They dilute their message. They confuse their audience. They make people work too hard to understand them. And when people are confused, they stop listening. Clear speech is not about volume. It's not about sounding fancy. It's about ownership. When you speak, your voice should say, I know exactly what I mean. I believe in what I'm saying. And I want you to hear it, without guessing. But let's be real, most people don't speak that way. Why? Because they're nervous. Because they're uncertain. Because they're trying to finish their sentence before anyone judges them. And so they rush. They stumble. They throw filler words everywhere. Like you know, I don't know, kind of. Every single one of those weakens the impact. The solution isn't complicated, but it does require discipline. Slow down. Breathe. Finish your thought fully. Own every word. Speaking slowly is not weakness. It's confidence. When you slow your pace, you create space. Space for your mind to organize your thoughts. Space for your listener to process your words. Space for your message to land with power. You don't need to use complicated words. In fact, simplicity is strength. The most powerful communicators in history use short, clear, punchy sentences. Because clarity commands attention. People don't respect endless talking. People respect the person who says exactly what needs to be said, and nothing more. This isn't about public speaking. This is about how you speak every single day. When you order coffee. When you answer a question at work. When you give your opinion to a friend. When you negotiate. When you introduce yourself. In every interaction, you're either building credibility or leaking it. Your speech reflects your identity. If you speak with hesitation, you're telling your brain, I'm unsure. If you speak with clarity, you're training your brain. I am capable. My words matter. And here's a hard truth. If you regularly sound unsure, eventually people will treat you that way. They won't trust your leadership. They won't trust your ideas. They'll assume you're not ready, not because you aren't good enough, but because your delivery weakens your message. You cannot afford to mumble through your life. You cannot afford to trail off into uncertainty. You cannot afford to let your words shrink your presence. Because your voice is not just for others, it's for you. Every time you speak clearly, you're building self-respect. Every time you deliver your thought with calm conviction, you're reinforcing inner strength. Every time you hold your tone steady, even in tension, you're proving to yourself that you are in control. And it doesn't end with what you say, it extends into how you listen. Confident speakers are great listeners. Why? Because they're not racing ahead, trying to impress. They're grounded. They process fully before they speak. They respond, not react. And that calm, measured presence builds trust, in business, relationships, leadership, everywhere. You want to lead? You want people to follow you? You want to command rooms without shouting? Master your voice. And here's one more critical piece. Stop apologizing when you speak. Stop ending sentences with, "If that makes sense. But I don't know. I might be wrong." These phrases destroy your authority. When you speak, finish your thought and stop. Let your words breathe. Let them stand on their own. Because the world respects people who don't beg for approval after every sentence. So starting today, make this your daily practice. Slow your pace. Cut filler words. Pause between ideas. Speak simply. Finish your thought fully. Stop apologizing. Do this in every interaction, small or big. With every repetition, you are rewiring your brain for confidence. You don't need to wait until you feel ready to speak clearly. Speaking clearly is how you become ready. And once you master this, you'll notice something powerful. You won't need to raise your voice to lead. You won't need to dominate conversations. You won't need to talk longer to be heard. Your calm, steady clarity will do the work for you. Let your voice become your signature of strength. Now let's move to one of the most critical disciplines in your life, one that separates the overwhelmed from the unbreakable. The ability to say no. Quickly. Firmly. Without guilt. You want to know why so many people feel like they're drowning? Why they can't breathe under their schedules? Why their dreams never move from INT? Tie into reality? It's simple. They don't know how to say no. They say yes to everything. Yes to requests that steal their time. Yes to distractions disguised as opportunities. Yes to favors that drain their energy. Yes to obligations they never even wanted. They spread themselves thin trying to be polite, to avoid conflict, to keep everyone else comfortable. And in the process, they abandon their own goals. You want to break that pattern? You want to finally own your life? You must master the art of the fast. No. Because every time you hesitate to say no, you surrender control. You allow someone else's priorities to invade your calendar. And once your calendar is full of things that don't serve you, your dreams are the first to starve. Let me tell you something that will change how you operate. Every yes you give is a no to something else. Yes to that random meeting? No to focused work on your mission. Yes to that unimportant call? No to quiet time with your family. Yes to that endless scroll? No to building the life you say you want. Your yes is currency. Spend it wisely. Because unlike money, you cannot earn back your time. Your time is your most precious non-renewable resource. Protect it like your future depends on it, because it does. And I'll be honest, at first, saying no will feel uncomfortable. People will be surprised. Some may even call you selfish. Good. That's a sign you're finally putting yourself on your own priority list. You see, most people confuse kindness with self-sacrifice. They believe being helpful means being endlessly available. That's wrong. You can be kind without being a doormat. You can serve others without surrendering your own life. Boundaries don't make you selfish. They make you effective. And boundaries begin with a simple sentence. No, I can't. Not. Maybe. Not. I'll think about it. Not. Let me check. No. And here's the truth. The people who genuinely respect you won't be offended by your boundaries. They'll admire them. Because people who respect themselves naturally earn respect from others. You teach people how to treat you, by what you allow, what you stop, and what you walk away from. And don't stop at others. Sometimes the person you most need to say no to is yourself. Say no to your own temptations, no to the easy distraction, no to the comfortable excuse, no to the habit that drains your energy, no to the voice in your head that says, just this once. Every one of those tiny no's adds up. They stack into momentum. They create focus. They build your discipline. Because self-respect is not built through motivation, it's built through daily decisions. And it doesn't stop there. Saying no also gives you something rare: mental clarity. When your life isn't cluttered by endless obligations, you finally have space to breathe, to think, to plan, to move intentionally. That space is where real work happens. That space is where your breakthrough lives. The most productive people you admire? They're not superhuman. They've just mastered what most avoid. They fiercely protect their time. They don't accept every invitation. They don't respond to every message. They don't feel obligated to explain their priorities. They know what matters most, and they defend it. If you want to build anything meaningful, a business, a skill, a career, a family, you must learn to guard your personal time like it's your lifeline. Because it is. And yes, you will lose some people along the way. You'll disappoint people who once expected your constant availability. But here's the good news: the people who stay, they're the ones who truly value you. They understand that your growth requires space. They want to see you rise. So from now on, stop delaying. Don't hesitate. Don't overthink it. Don't justify every decision. Say no fast. Say no early. Say no often. And watch how your life sharpens. Watch how your peace grows. Watch how your energy returns. You will suddenly realize you don't need more hours in the day. You simply needed fewer distractions in it. This is how you reclaim your time. This is how you honor your purpose. This is how you build the life you've been talking about for years. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens by subtraction. By cutting the noise. By defending your calendar. By respecting your time so fully that you never again give it away casually. The faster you say no, the sooner your real life begins. Now let's go even deeper. You've learned how to protect your time. Now let's protect something even more powerful: your presence. Your ability to show up fully. And it starts with one of the most overlooked, yet most powerful skills a person can develop: the ability to hold eye contact. Simple? Yes. Easy? Not at first. Life-changing? Absolutely. Because in this world full of nervous glances, darting eyes, and people shrinking into themselves, the person who can calmly look someone in the eye commands instant respect. Not because they're better, but because they're present. You see, confidence isn't just what you say. It's how you stand. How you move. How you breathe. How you hold your gaze. And here's what most people get wrong: they think eye contact is about dominance. About aggression. It's not. It's about grounding yourself. About telling the world, without a word, that you're not hiding. That you believe in what you're saying. That you're here fully. When you avoid eye contact, even unconsciously, you're sending a message. I don't fully trust my words. I'm not sure I belong here. I'm shrinking. You may not feel that way inside. But that's the message your body delivers. And guess what? If you send that signal long enough, your mind starts to believe it. You begin to pull back. You start to play small. You convince yourself that others know better, speak better, deserve more. And that's a lie. Because you belong. You are enough. You've earned your place. But you must communicate that, first and foremost, to yourself. That's where the practice of steady eye contact begins. It's not about staring people down. It's not about making anyone uncomfortable. It's about being fully here. Steady. Calm. Unapologetic. When you hold someone's gaze with ease, you're saying, I see you. I'm not intimidated. And I'm comfortable with who I am. And people feel that energy instantly. Whether you're speaking in a meeting, introducing yourself, or simply saying thank you at the store. The person who can meet another's eyes builds quiet influence. They don't need to say much. Because presence speaks before words ever leave your mouth. Look around you. Notice how rare this skill is becoming. How many people look at their phones during conversations. How many glance around the room while speaking. How many avoid stillness? And that's why you must master it. Because real presence creates real trust. When you can calmly hold someone's attention, people listen differently. They absorb your words. They believe your message. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You need to be the most grounded. You need to say, through your posture, through your breathing, through your gaze, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And you build that one moment at a time. You don't need to wait for a big presentation to practice. You start right now. When you walk past someone on the street, make eye contact. When you check out at the grocery store, meet the cashier's eyes when you say, "Thank you." When a coworker speaks to you, give them your full focus. Not your phone. Not your wandering mind. Your full, undivided attention. Because here's the truth. The person who can control their gaze can control their mind. The person who can stay steady under the weight of another's eyes can stay steady under pressure anywhere. And when you master this, everything changes. You'll stop shrinking. You'll stop feeling the need to fill empty space with nervous words. You'll stop apologizing for taking up space. Because now you'll own that space. And the world will feel it. And here's what you'll notice as your confidence grows. Your conversations will feel deeper. Your words will land with more power. Your energy will pull people in without you having to try. That is presence. Calm. Unrushed. Solid. The person who can remain still, fully present, while the world rushes around them is unshakable. It's not about bravado. It's not about loudness. It's about still strength. When others fidget, you remain steady. When others avoid, you stay engaged. When others seek comfort, you hold your ground. That steadiness spills into every area of your life. In business. In relationships. In conflict. In leadership. The world trusts people who carry stillness. Because stillness signals control. And here's the secret most people miss. Eye contact isn't about them. It's about you. Every time you meet someone's eyes, you reinforce to yourself, I am enough. I belong here. I don't shrink from life. I am ready. And over time, you don't have to think about it anymore. It becomes who you are. You walk differently. You speak differently. You lead differently. And people feel it. So starting today, commit to this. Look people in the eyes. Not with tension. Not with fear. Not with the need to prove. With calm. With poise. With ownership. Because the more you practice it, the more you claim your place in every room you enter. You're not waiting for permission anymore. You're here. Fully. You've started to master presence. Now we tackle one of the most dangerous thieves of your future, your phone. Not because the device is evil. Not because technology is bad. But because your phone has become a silent, constant magnet pulling your mind away from what matters most. Every scroll delays your growth. Every meaningless notification drains your focus. Every moment you spend consumed by what others are doing online, you delay what you could be building in your own life. And you don't even realize how much is slipping away, not all at once, but in tiny, invisible fragments. Minutes here. Seconds there. Hours wasted. And then you wonder why you feel behind. Why you feel unfocused. Why you struggle to execute your plans. It's not that you're incapable. It's not that you don't have enough time. It's not that you lack talent. It's your attention that's bleeding out. You wake up and check your phone before your feet hit the ground. You check messages in the middle of your work. You scroll endlessly before you sleep. And then you tell yourself you're busy. But you're not busy. You're distracted. You're consuming, not creating. And that's the subtle difference that determines who grows and who stays stuck. Every time you open that app, you're feeding a habit, avoidance. Avoiding your real work. Avoiding uncomfortable focus. Avoiding discipline. Because real work isn't entertaining. Real work doesn't give instant dopamine. It doesn't reward you with likes or hearts or views every 5 minutes. Real work is silent. It's slow. It's repetitive. It's often boring. And that's why most people avoid it, not because they can't handle the task, but because they can't handle the lack of stimulation. Your brain has been trained to expect instant feedback, endless entertainment, constant novelty. You've allowed distraction to become your comfort zone. But understand this, you cannot build the life you want while feeding that addiction. Because while you scroll through what others are doing, you're postponing your own growth. And every day you repeat this pattern, you weaken the muscle of focus. The most powerful currency in the modern world isn't information, it's attention. The people who control your attention control your life. And the people who take back control of their own attention? They build empires. They build mastery. They build lives most only dream of. Because the rarest skill today is deep focus. The ability to sit, to work, to think, to build, without the need for constant stimulation. When you reclaim that ability, everything changes. You don't need more time. You need to stop leaking the time you already have. Here's the brutal truth. Every time you grab your phone during your work, you're not multitasking, you're resetting your focus back to zero. You're breaking momentum. You're cutting your creative process off at the knees. You're training yourself to live reactively, responding to what pops up instead of deciding where your energy goes. And if you live that way for long enough, you'll wake up one day and realize you're far behind, not because others were more talented, but because they stayed locked in while you kept getting pulled away. The person who can control their focus will always outperform the person who chases distraction. So what do? You build a new system. When you work, work. When you rest, rest. But never mix the two. Put your phone in another room when you're focused. Turn off every non-essential notification. Set strict windows when you check messages, not whenever you feel like it. Protect your attention like it's your lifeline, because it is. You don't need to give up your phone. You need to control it. You don't serve your device. Your device serves you. Right now you may feel the itch to check it. That itch is withdrawal, from an addiction you didn't even know you had. But every time you resist that urge, you reclaim power. You build mental toughness. You strengthen your ability to sit with discomfort, and stay focused anyway. That's what separates amateurs from masters. Masters don't need to feel motivated. They don't need to feel entertained. They don't need to feel ready. They show up. They sit down. They do the real work, while the rest of the world scrolls, swipes, and stays distracted. And over time, that discipline compounds. What seems impossible for most becomes natural for you. Because you've trained your brain to handle boredom, discomfort, and repetition. That's how mastery is built. That's how great businesses are built. That's how great skills are developed. That's how real progress happens. While others look for quick dopamine hits, you stay locked into the long game. And while others ask, how do you stay so disciplined? You'll know, I trained for this. I made the hard decision when it mattered most. I chose to put the phone down and pick my life up. From now on, every time you feel the pull to check your phone while working, stop and remind yourself. This moment is my edge. Every decision right now builds or weakens my future. I choose strength. Focus is freedom. And freedom is earned. You don't need another app to fix this. You need a decision. One you make every single day. You've taken control of your attention. You've started protecting your focus. But now we arrive at one of the most dangerous traps that destroy people's relationships, careers, and peace: your reaction speed. Most people lose control of their lives not because they make terrible decisions, but because they make instant decisions. They react fast. They speak fast. They lash out fast. And then they spend hours, days, sometimes years cleaning up the damage. Because they never built the discipline to pause. When someone says something offensive, you feel the heat rise instantly. When a problem shows up, your mind races to fix, defend, argue, explain, fight. You feel pressure build in your chest, your fists clench, your breath shortens, and your voice gets sharp. and that one moment of reaction creates weeks of regret. Here's what you have to understand. The problem is rarely the situation. The problem is your speed. Your emotions are not wrong. Your thoughts are not wrong. What's wrong is how quickly you let them hijack your behavior. Real strength is built in the gap. The gap between trigger and response. The space between feeling and action. That space is tiny. Milliseconds. But that's where your entire life can shift. If you control that space, you control your life. That's why you must train yourself to do one thing before anything else: breathe. Not a deep, dramatic breath. Not some mystical technique. Just one pause. One slow inhale. That simple breath slows your nervous system. It cools the fire rising in your body. It signals to your brain, we're not in danger. We don't need to explode. You've trained your mind to believe that speed equals power. But that's a lie. Speed is weakness. Speed is emotion controlling you. The real power lives in the person who can slow down. Who can feel anger and hold it. Who can feel hurt and stay grounded. Who can feel attacked and still choose wisdom. Because once you've mastered that pause, you're no longer controlled by anyone else's energy. You own your state. You're not at the mercy of every ignorant comment. You're not a puppet being yanked around by people's drama. You are steady, even when the world gets loud. Let me tell you something few people understand. The world rewards calm thinkers. The world elevates people who can stay composed when everyone else is losing control. Because they're rare. And rare is powerful. You don't need to yell. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to out-argue anyone. You win by keeping your energy. By protecting your peace. Here's how you train it. Every time you feel yourself getting pulled emotionally, don't speak immediately. Don't act immediately. Breathe. Inhale. Feel the emotion. Exhale. Let the heat pass through you without controlling you. And then, only then, respond. Not react. Respond. Responses are deliberate. They're clean. They're powerful. You don't waste energy. You don't create more problems. You don't say words you'll wish you could erase. You stay in control of yourself, and that is the highest level of discipline. The one who controls himself controls the room. Even in conflict. Even when you're being disrespected. Even when your emotions scream for release. You don't give away your strength to people who haven't earned your energy. Understand this deeply. Anyone can scream. Anyone can snap. Anyone can curse, argue, and explode. But the one who can stay still when the storm hits, that person is unstoppable. Because you can't manipulate someone who won't react. You can't shake someone who refuses to be triggered. You can't control someone who stays composed. You become untouchable. That's not passive. That's not weakness. That's mastery. You'll still address problems when needed. You'll still speak your truth when necessary. You'll still set boundaries when required. But you'll do it from power, not panic. And here's where this truly transforms your life. You won't just protect your relationships. You won't just avoid unnecessary arguments. You'll gain something far more valuable: self-trust. Because every time you breathe instead of react, every time you pause instead of explode, every time you choose calm over chaos, you build trust with yourself. And when you trust ourself, your confidence grows unshakably. That's how you build a grounded, powerful, composed mind. Start practicing immediately. The next time someone says something irritating, feel the emotion rise, then breathe. The next time life throws unexpected stress your way, feel the surge, then breathe. Every single one of those moments is your training ground. It's not about perfection. It's about practice. One pause at a time. One breath at a time. One conscious choice at a time. That's how you build the version of you that can handle anything. Let's now confront one of the most toxic habits silently killing your growth: mindless consumption before bed. What you feed your mind before you sleep is not entertainment. It's not harmless. It's programming. Your brain absorbs every piece of content you scroll through late at night, and it wires your thoughts for the next day. You are either planting seeds for growth or sowing weeds of distraction every night. Most people numb themselves with endless scrolling, short videos that add zero value, random gossip that doesn't affect their lives, meaningless news designed to hijack attention, empty stimulation disguised as relaxation. And they wonder why they wake up tired, why they feel unfocused, why their motivation disappears. Because they've polluted their mind the night before. Let me give you the hard truth: your evenings shape your mornings. Your evenings shape your future. You can't expect to live with clarity when you fill your mind with mental junk right before sleep. You think you're winding down, but what you're really doing is programming chaos. The brain doesn't rest when fed noise. It loops. It rehearses. It rewires. And when you do this daily, you are training your mind to crave distraction, not discipline. You are weakening your mental muscles when you should be strengthening them. But here's the shift: replace scrolling with reading. No, not reading for entertainment. Not empty novels. Not more internet articles that feed your anxiety. I mean useful reading. Words that sharpen you. Books that challenge your thinking. Ideas that feed your ambition. Perspectives that strengthen your discipline. Every night you read something useful, you're carving your future with your own hands. You're elevating your thinking while everyone else is mentally sedating themselves. A simple rule: 15 minutes of reading something useful before bed will compound more than 2 hours of scrolling. Because useful reading sharpens your language, expands your vision, strengthens your focus, fuels your thinking, installs wisdom into your subconscious. When you choose to read instead of scroll, you're not just consuming information. You're leading yourself. You are stepping into self-leadership, even at the smallest hour. You're telling yourself, my future matters. My mind matters. My growth matters. And you start each morning sharper because your mind was fed properly the night before. You'll feel it. More mental clarity. Less emotional fog. Greater readiness to execute. Because your brain is now working for you, not against you. Let me make this even clearer: your evenings are either training you for discipline or addiction. Every time you choose scrolling, you strengthen the addiction pathway. Every time you choose reading, you strengthen the discipline pathway. And discipline will take you where motivation never could. Don't fool yourself into thinking you're unwinding. You're not unwinding, you're training. Every night is a training session. Either training distraction or training focus. This is why high performers separate themselves. They control what enters their mind, especially in the most vulnerable hours. They don't allow random algorithms to dictate their thoughts before they sleep. They deliberately program their subconscious. And when you program your subconscious, your behavior shifts automatically. You stop chasing motivation. Because your mind wakes up ready. That's the secret most people never grasp. If you fix your nights, you fix your life. Here's how you build this. Set a clear bedtime routine. Keep your book physically beside your bed. Replace your phone with that book. Commit to even 10 to 15 minutes daily. Read materials that directly align with the person you want to become. It might feel uncomfortable at first. You'll feel the itch to reach for your phone. That's the withdrawal from distraction. Push through. Breathe through. Because every night you win this small battle, you're building an unstoppable mind. Eventually, your attention span grows. Your focus sharpens. Your thinking becomes deeper. Your confidence elevates. And here's the most powerful part: you won't crave cheap entertainment anymore. You'll crave growth. Because you've rewired your reward system. Your brain now gets its satisfaction from clarity, not from endless scrolling. You're not numbing yourself. You're feeding yourself. That's how you break out of mental poverty. One night at a time. One page at a time. One decision at a time. You don't have to read for hours. You just have to show up for yourself. Every evening is another brick laid. Every reading session is another layer of strength. And over time, you've built something no algorithm can destroy: a disciplined, independent, sharp mind. The kind of mind that changes lives, starting with your own. If you want to unlock your true power, burn this into your mind: nobody owes you anything. Read that again. Nobody owes you success. Nobody owes you a break. Nobody owes you recognition, praise, help, or sympathy. You're not entitled to anything. Not from life. Not from people. Not even from your past. And once you fully accept that, you become unstoppable. Because now you stop waiting. You stop complaining. You stop hoping for someone to rescue you. You step into full ownership. Full control. Full responsibility. Most people stay stuck because deep down they're waiting for someone to see their potential. Waiting for someone to believe in them. Waiting for someone to hand them an opportunity. But life doesn't work that way. Life isn't fair. Life isn't built on should. Life responds to those who move. You've probably told yourself, I've worked so hard, I deserve a break. I've been good, I deserve to be rewarded. I've suffered, life owes me something. No. Your suffering doesn't purchase success. Your struggle doesn't guarantee reward. Your goodness doesn't entitle you to anything. Life pays those who work relentlessly, with consistency, regardless of circumstances. The world isn't keeping score. The scoreboard is your actions. Every single day. When you finally stop believing anyone owes you, something powerful happens. You stop seeking approval. You stop begging for permission. You stop resenting other people's progress. You start building. Quietly. Consistently. Because now you're not waiting. You're executing. You stop being distracted by fairness. Fairness is a trap. Life isn't fair. It never was. It never will be. And if you let fairness occupy your mind, you give away your power. You will see others, less talented than you succeed. Less disciplined than you get rewarded. Less deserving than you advance. So what? None of that changes your responsibility. None of that alters your path. You're not here to keep score. You're here to get better. You're here to outgrow your circumstances. You're here to master the only thing you actually control. Yourself. When you expect nothing, every small win feels like a gift, not a right. When you stop needing validation, every moment becomes progress. When you stop blaming, you start growing. That is the true meaning of ownership. You stop looking outward. You stop waiting for someone to give you permission to rise. You realize, nobody is coming. Nobody is required to fix your life. Nobody is responsible for your peace. It's you. All of it. Always you. Your habits. Your standards. Your work ethic. Your decisions. That is your liberation. That is where real freedom lives. The more you embrace it, the stronger you get. You no longer panic when people ignore you. You no longer break down when opportunities don't appear. You no longer crumble when life tests you. Because your foundation is not built on external validation. It's built on self-respect. It's built on unbreakable standards. You no longer say, I deserve. You say, I will earn. You no longer say, why don't they help me? You say, what can I do today with what I have? That mindset creates unstoppable people. Because now you're free from entitlement. Free from bitterness. Free from waiting. And free people move different. Free people execute. The people who get ahead aren't the ones who complain loudest. They're the ones who accept this brutal truth: nothing is owed. Everything is earned. Every inch. Every breakthrough. Every win. Earned. Built. Constructed. And that's why it feels so powerful when you achieve it, because it's yours. Fully. Entirely. Authentically yours. No one gave it to you. You outworked your circumstances. You built discipline where others surrendered. You grew where others got stuck. You became the kind of person who doesn't need to be rescued, because you rescue yourself daily. You don't wake up hoping life gets easier. You wake up knowing you're stronger than yesterday. You trust yourself. You trust your grind. You trust your process. Because you've built trust through action. And here's the truth most people never grasp. Every time you blame, you weaken yourself. Every time you take ownership, you strengthen yourself. Ownership sharpens your vision. Ownership accelerates your growth. Ownership frees you from excuses. You no longer ask life for favors. You meet life head-on and take what you're willing to build. When you live like this, you don't chase attention. You don't need applause. You don't demand fairness. You just work. Quietly. Ruthlessly. Relentlessly. And eventually the results come. Because discipline always pays. The life you want isn't owed to you. It's waiting for you to build it. Brick by brick. Decision by decision. Day by day. So wake up every morning with this truth wired into your mind. Nobody owes me anything. And that's my greatest advantage. Because it means my future is fully in my hands. Own it. Build it. Live it.